4th and 2. Lamar says, leave me out here, I got this. And boy, is he ever right. Take a look. Where's the defense? The Cowboys don't only not touch him, I'm not sure they looked at him. A 37-yard run for Lamar. 13 carries, 94 yards for him on the night. Ravens up 7-3. Andy Dalton and the Cowboys looking to answer. 2nd and 9 from the 13. It's Dalton. He's looking left, and he's got Michael Gallup for the touchdown. Cowboys up 10-7. Dalton 285 and 2 scores on the night. Ensuing drive for the Ravens. They just ran the football all over this defense all night. Here comes Gus Edwards for 36. He had 101 yards on 7 carries. Ravens would miss a field goal, so it's still 10-7 Dallas. Cowboys take over. 1st and 10. Oh, that's not what they had in mind. It's tipped. It's picked. Patrick Queen is there. Andy Dalton doesn't like it, and he would like it even less one play later, because this is the next play. Lamar, Miles Boykin made just 1 catch on the night, but he made it count. Stays up and gets in 14-10 in favor of the Ravens. Closing seconds of the half, 17-10 Baltimore. Cowboys going to throw up a Hail Mary. Ravens not playing the zero blitz. Take a look at this. Up in the scrum, C.D. Lamb emerges from the group and gets 2 hands on it, but unable to haul it in. Take another look. That close to tying it up at the half. Instead, it's Baltimore 17-10. 3rd quarter, same score. Ravens 3rd and 10 at the 34. Lamar Jackson, this was there all night. Just tuck it and go. The Ravens ran for 294 yards on the Dallas defense. And Jackson didn't have to throw it a lot, but when he did, he was throwing dimes like this. Take a look at this throw to the corner of the end zone for Hollywood Brown and the touchdown that puts them up 34-17, which is your final score. Take a look at the nice move, and then the dime, and then watch the foot drag. All the pieces in place. 34-17, Baltimore gets a win it desperately needs, following the formula to try and work its way back into the playoff picture. Jackson throwing the ball a career low 17 times. Since he became the starter, the Ravens are 14-0 when he throws it fewer than 24 times in a game. Specifically, they're 6-0 when he throws 20 times or less, winning on average by nearly 4 touchdowns. So let me bring the group into the conversation here. And look, we've talked a lot about the Ravens and what this means. I cannot fathom that there's ever a point where the Dallas Cowboys could play a standalone game on national television on a Tuesday night and there would be nothing to say about them the following day. So, RC, here's what we'll say. This is the lowest point they have been at in 31 years. 1989 was the last time they had a record this bad. This is a team that came into the year with all kinds of expectations. So what would you expect their owner, Jerry Jones, to do from here?
He needs to fix Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones needs to step away from this team in the capacity that he is and allow Stephen Jones to run it, allow some of the executives that he has hired. He sits in his office and he thinks he's Suge Knight putting together death row records, but more importantly, he's getting MC Gusto and CB4. That's the type of output that they're getting on the field. When you look at this defense, the defense that he's paid people money, the DeMarcus Lawrence, you go out and get Aldon Smith, you obviously have, two young linebackers that you paid money in Leighton Vander Esch and Jalen Smith, and they're not playing good football. On the back end, they're not put together to win. And you also botched the Dak Prescott contract situation. And so if you're Jerry Jones, it's time to step away from this team in this capacity, allow someone else to run it, and hopefully they can get you the Super Bowl that you so desperately long for.
I hear you, and I don't disagree, but I consider it the least likely of all the different directions this could go. So, Dominique, as you sit back and look at the football team, what's the first thing you think they need to fix?
I mean, it's the defense. It seems so obvious to me that it's the defense because the offense is fixed. As soon as Dak Prescott gets healthy and you sign him to a contract, that was never the problem on this team. And I push back a little bit on what RC said because you think about Dak Prescott's rookie year and the years surrounding that, they were really good because Jerry Jones built a team around a strong offensive line. So I think they need to address the offensive line. And first and foremost, if you can't stop anybody, if people are scoring just about every time they get out on the field, then you are in trouble. And to your point, Greeny, this is a low point. They are in an atrociously bad division, and they're the only team we think that doesn't have a chance to win it. It's embarrassing.
They don't have a chance.
It's true.
So sad.
That is a reasonable way to look at it. This is going to end up being probably the worst division in NFL history, and with a month left, they're the only team that doesn't really have a chance to win it. It's that bad in Dallas. Desmond, what do they need to do?
I think that Jerry Jones needs to step back, step away, and let Steven run the team. I believe they have to address that defense. They need to get some key players up front that can put pressure on the quarterback and that can stop the run. The Dak Prescott piece, though, is going to be very interesting simply because we don't know how he's going to come back. So offensively, there's so much relying on Dak, and when he comes back, and how is he? You know, is he going to be the same, or is he a little step slower? And Dak was never the guy who I thought could just take them to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have, to me, that type of talent at the quarterback position. He's not making everyone around him better. They started to go out and get the pieces to make him better, but now since he's been injured, we don't know what type of Dak Prescott we're going to get when he returns. So that's something to keep an eye on, too, how they handle that.
Okay, I have to come to Dominique quickly. Graziano, I promise I will, but those seem like fighting words to me. Dominique, if I'm you, what is your reaction?
I mean, I would never fight my brother Dez, but what he's saying is categorically absurd and outrageous. I don't know what more Dak has to do. Dak's done everything to show everyone that he is a player. Like, who's better than Dak? Okay, there's Patrick Mahomes, there's Aaron Rodgers, there's that
That's
tier.
what he has to do. He got to get him to the chip.
Well, somebody.
That's what
stop somebody. Stop somebody. If you stop somebody, Dak gonna score enough points. I'm sorry, Dan. Say whatever you gotta say, Dan. You getting my heart rate up. I'm sweating. You're right.
I think it's the turtleneck. Graziano, let me come to you on this question because the name that hasn't come up in any of this is the head coach or any of the coaching staff. And, of course, there is the question of the quarterback because the contract is a complicated one, to say the very least. So when you look at the head coach and you look at the quarterback, how would you describe the likeliest scenario as far as their return and how they return next season?
I think the likeliest scenario is that both Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott do return to Dallas next year. I think they'll end up franchising Dak because they won't have a fully clear picture on his health prognosis by the time the franchise deadline hits. But I think they can work out a deal before the deadline passes to do that. I'm aware that I said that last year and it didn't happen, but that doesn't mean it can't happen again. In terms of changing Jerry Jones's role in the organization, you have a better chance of the sun rising in the west tomorrow than that happening. But the organization they've done okay. I mean, they've done okay in terms of drafting and whatever, but they've hit a bad patch, and the defense is a mess. But don't ignore the offensive line. That falling apart was as big a deal to them this year as Dak Prescott going down. They haven't been able to get anything going at all because they lost all those guys.
Let me say a quick thing about the Jerry Jones point for a second, because I think that you guys make a point. Jerry Jones, I've tried to defend him a little bit, but I love CeeDee Lamb. He's a great player, but drafting CeeDee Lamb in the first round last year when you had other options to make your offensive line better or to improve your defense was a mistake. And it reminds me of I'm going to get you, sucker, when a man died of over-golding. You can't over-gold. You're going for the fancy, glittery stuff out there, and you OG. He OG. It's too much gold. It's in Jerry Jones's soul to rock that gold. He can't resist it. Can't OG.
You ready for this, Dominique? A little known fact. My mother was Keenan Ivory Wayans' third grade teacher. Boom.